The arena was dark, but a single spotlight illuminated the stage. A hush fell over the crowd, a tension thick enough to choke the air. Rumors had been swirling for months, whispers on social media, murmurs in locker rooms. Something unprecedented was about to happen. The people's champion, the hero who had been adored for decades, was about to face a challenge unlike any before. And no one knew if he would survive it. For decades, Dwayne Johnson was more than just a wrestler or an actor. He was a phenomenon, a symbol of strength and charisma that could command arenas, theaters, and screens worldwide. Fans remembered the era when a single raised eyebrow from him could ignite a stadium, drawing cheers, chants, and the collective awe of tens of thousands of people. In WWE, he became the face of the Attitude Era, a man whose presence alone could turn an average show into a spectacle that people would talk about for years. Hollywood took notice. He transitioned from wrestling to movies with a seamless charisma that no one else could match. Franchises were built around him, box office receipts soared, and his personal brand became synonymous with hard work, positivity, and perseverance. Parents told their children about him as an example of achieving success against all odds. Children idolized him, aspiring to emulate his work ethic and determination. The world looked up to him, and for a long time, it seemed that nothing could shake the pedestal he had built. But adoration, as it often does, began to crack. In 2024, a subtle shift emerged, almost imperceptible at first. Fans who once cheered his every move began to whisper doubts in online forums, in hushed conversations at wrestling gyms, and in comment sections across social media. The opposition did not erupt overnight. It accumulated slowly, like a storm forming on the horizon, invisible until the wind began to howl and the sky darkened. Each appearance, each decision, each corporate move Johnson made was scrutinized under a microscope. Expectations were higher than ever because he had set them himself. When he returned to WWE for a highly anticipated event, the dam broke. Longtime supporters were no longer satisfied with nostalgia or charisma. They wanted narrative integrity, respect for ongoing storylines, and acknowledgement of the wrestlers who had labored for years to achieve their moment. The backlash was loud, pointed, and inescapable, marking a shift in public perception that would reverberate throughout his career at the same time. A narrative had been quietly building, one that had captured the hearts of millions. Cody Rhodes, the son of legendary wrestler Dusty Rhodes, was on a journey not just to win matches, but to fulfill a familial legacy. Every step he took was laden with significance. He had left WWE in 2016 to explore independent promotions, reinvent himself, and even contribute to the creation of a competing wrestling company. His return in 2022 was not casual. It was deliberate, with a mission to accomplish what his father never could. Fans followed him obsessively, empathizing with his injuries, his setbacks, and his triumphs. When he competed after a torn pectoral muscle in a match widely regarded as one of the most brutal in contemporary WWE history, it became more than a fight. It became legend. Cody Rhodes was poised to dethrone Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40, a storyline that intertwined legacy, personal redemption, and the fans' own investment in a narrative that had been unfolding for years. The excitement was palpable, and the emotional stakes had never been higher. Then, just as the crescendo of anticipation reached its peak, everything changed. The Rock arrived. His attendance, given his new corporate role on the board of TKO, the parent company of WWE, was expected, but no one anticipated the consequences. Cody Rhodes, inches from achieving his long-awaited triumph, was removed from the main event in an instant. The story the fans had been living, breathing, and investing in was erased in favor of a new narrative: The Rock versus Roman Reigns. A battle that could have been a dream match in a different era now felt like theft. The crowd reacted viscerally, the cheers replaced by boos, the chants for Cody Rhodes echoing louder than any acknowledgement of The Rock's entrance. The video of the confrontation between Johnson and Reigns became infamous, accumulating more dislikes and critical commentary than almost any other WWE clip. For the first time in decades, the man who had been known as the People's Champion was confronted with a reaction he could not control. This was not the first time Johnson had drawn criticism for prioritizing his own story over others. Years earlier, when CM Punk held the WWE Championship for more than a year, he had revived fans' memories of wrestling's golden days. Johnson's return led to Punk being stripped of his title to make room for a high-profile match against John Cena. Punk openly criticized the decision, asserting that Johnson cared more about his public image than the success of the company or fairness to fellow performers. Fans quickly recognized the similarity between Punk's predicament and Cody Rhodes' current situation: Johnson's career-long habit of reshaping storylines to favor himself, often at the expense of wrestlers who had been building their arcs patiently, had become a pattern. Johnson's approach in WWE mirrored his Hollywood career. On the Fast and Furious set, he clashed with Vin Diesel, labeling him unprofessional and creating tension on set. Tyrese Gibson alleged that Johnson's insistence on a spin-off caused delays in the franchise's mainline films. Reports also surfaced of contractual clauses guaranteeing that Johnson's characters would never genuinely lose, effectively ensuring his dominance on screen and minimizing opportunities for co-stars to shine. These actions reflected a recurring theme: an insistence on controlling the narrative and prioritizing personal success over collaboration. Whether in wrestling or cinema, Johnson's tenure in the DC Universe further illustrated this dynamic. Determined to make Black Adam the centerpiece of the cinematic universe, he resisted the natural inclusion of Shazam, insisted on standalone prominence, and sought to restructure the narrative around his character. While ambitious, these moves failed commercially, and the subsequent revamp of the DC Universe by James Gunn diminished Johnson's influence. The effort was seen less as vision and more as hubris, suggesting that even at the height of his power, ego could undermine accomplishment. Gradually, critics and fans began re-evaluating Johnson's career. Once celebrated as an underdog who achieved success through charisma and hard work, he was now scrutinized as someone who may have leveraged that same hard work to dominate narratives, sidelining peers and disrupting storylines. Questions arose. Was he truly the people's champion, or had he prioritized self-interest above the collective experience? The narrative of Johnson as a universally loved figure began to fracture, leaving gaps in the public perception of his character. At WrestleMania 40, this conflict reached a boiling point. The Rock's interference in Cody Rhodes' storyline was more than a simple match decision. It symbolized the clash between legacy and ego. Thousands of fans who had invested years in Cody's story were left bewildered, their anticipation undermined. Social media erupted with hashtags supporting Rhodes and criticizing Johnson. The Rock, who had once been the embodiment of the people's champion, found himself facing a reality he could not script. His identity, carefully constructed over decades, was under assault as fans and critics alike questioned his motives and intentions. For the first time in his career, Dwayne Johnson faced an opponent he could not overcome with charm, wit, or charisma. The crowd, the audience, and the fans became his adversaries. He was forced to confront the reality that perception, once shaped by media and narrative control, could no longer be dictated. The hero, the icon, the champion, the man who had been cheered worldwide for decades, was now vulnerable. Whether this moment represents a temporary stumble or the beginning of a true fall from grace remains uncertain. What is certain, however, is that the world is watching. The narrative has shifted, and The Rock must decide. Will he confront the backlash and attempt redemption? Or will he allow the cracks in his legacy to widen, leaving a hero reduced to myth and controversy? The cheer has stopped, the pedestal has fractured, and history waits to record the next chapter.